The old Victorian had a way of feeling both grand and incredibly lonely. Sarah, house-sitting for the summer, found herself dwarfed by its high ceilings and endless corridors. Every antique mirror seemed to catch the twilight, turning familiar rooms into a labyrinth of shadows. It wasn't long before the quiet hum of the house was broken by a new kind of silence, the kind that felt like it was holding its breath. That's when he showed up. "Mr. Davies." "A new neighbor," he said, from 2 streets over. Too friendly. Too many questions about her being alone, about how long she'd be staying in the beautiful old place. She tried to be polite, but a shiver ran down her spine. Later that evening, she saw it his reflection, clear as day in the hallway mirror, standing at the edge of the property outside, just watching the house. She blinked and he was gone. Just the light, she told herself. But it wasn't just the light. Days turned into a waking nightmare. Mr. Davies would appear, always smiling, but his eyes were empty. Always pausing, always watching the house. Small things started to go wrong, a window shed locked found unlatched, the back gate left ajar. She blamed herself, her memory, anything but the gnawing fear that whispered someone else was here. One night, a faint tapping echoed through the house. It seemed to come from the antique mirror in the living room, a soft, rhythmic brush against the glass. She searched, found nothing. But the next morning, there it was, a smooth, polished river stone sitting on the doorstep. The exact same kind she'd seen Mr. Davies fiddling with in his hand a few days before. Her gut screamed. She started double, triple-checking every lock, every window, her breath catching in her throat with every creak of the old house. Then came the storm. Thunder shook the house, the lights flickered, plunging rooms into sudden darkness. A loud, insistent knock rattled the front door. Mr. Davies? He claimed a tree limb had broken her back fence, said he needed to check for damage. His voice was agitated, too urgent. Through the peephole, she saw his rain-soaked face, his eyes glinting. He was lying. The storm had just begun, and the back fence wasn't visible from here. She told him she'd check in the morning. He pressed. "But it needs to be now, young lady. There could be damage." His voice dropped to a low growl. She backed away, her phone clutched in a sweaty hand. He started trying the doorknob slowly at first, then more forcefully. Then, the scratching began a soft, deliberate sound against the wood just beside the peephole. A chilling, rhythmic scrape that seemed to echo the tapping shed heard from the mirror. But the real horror came then. As he scratched, she caught his reflection in the hallway mirror. But it wasn't mimicking his movements. The reflection of Mr. Davies was just standing there, unmoving, watching her from inside the mirror, a sinister smile spreading across its face. It seemed to be trying to gesture, to reach out to her through the glass, while the real Mr. Davies was still scratching at the door. He wasn't just outside. He was already in. Sarah screamed, a raw, primal sound that tore from her throat. She grabbed the heaviest thing she could find, an old fireplace poker, and bolted to the kitchen, locking every door and window as she went. She called the police, whispering, heart hammering against her ribs. The scratching stopped. Silence. She risked a peek through a kitchen window. Mr. Davies was gone. Just the rain and the dark. The police arrived, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. They checked the perimeter, found nothing. No broken fence, no sign of forced entry. They took her statement, clearly unconvinced, thinking she was just a scared kid in a big old house. But as they turned to leave, one officer stopped. His flashlight landed on the inside of the front door. Etched deeply into the wood next to the peephole were words, "I was just checking." And on the doormat inside the house, sat another polished river stone. Sarah stared at the stone, then slowly, fearfully, back at the antique mirror in the hallway. The empty reflection of the hall seemed to shimmer just for a moment. She knew then, with a bone-chilling certainty, the real horror hadn't just been the man at the door. It was the one who had already found his way inside, the one who watched from the shadows, from the reflections, always present. The house was not empty, and neither, she realized, was her reflection.